You haven't protected her.
I don't need direction about what a man is supposed to do.
Okay, so the scene from the trailer of next week, actually this week, my bad, it is the 9th, so it's Sunday. This is a new week. So in the trailer for this week's episode of House of Payne, I think it's called House of Change, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Last week was The Storm. This one is House of Change. So Frederick, Laura's father, has come back to town to pick up his daughter yet again. And I wanted to really just highlight one particular moment from the trailer. And that's when Frederick mentions that you haven't been protecting Laura. And Calvin gets right up in his face like, I don't need you to tell me how to be a man or something to that effect. Now, a lot of people in the comments of my trailer breakdown, and thanks so much, that trailer breakdown is doing really good. People are like, yo, you know what? Frederick is doing too much. He doesn't know the full story. He only knows Laura's side of things. He shouldn't be coming up in there. No offense, but there are people who talk about me riding the fence like one episode you're on Miranda's side and the next episode you're on Laura's side, or this, that, and the third. And my response is, you can't fault me for being quote unquote inconsistent. It's the writers, because some episodes Miranda's in the right, some episodes Laura's in the right. But hey, you can't please everybody. But a lot of people in the comments were like, yeah, Frederick needs to step back. He doesn't know the whole story, whatever. But if you're saying that Frederick shouldn't be involved in a matter between his daughter and her fiance, then shouldn't the same be applied to Calvin's family? Now, there are some circumstances where if Laura is disrespectful to the family, of course it makes sense to step in. But let's say if, Laura and Miranda are going at it, why does Ella feel the need to step in? Why does Curtis? You can't have it both ways. You can't just say, hey, Laura's dad shouldn't have a stay in anything. Well, the same could be said about Calvin's family, but people like it when the Paynes go in on Laura. So, yeah. But I really wanted to say, regardless as to how many times Laura has been disrespectful or has blown up at Ella or Miranda or who, basically Calvin's mom, technically both parents, because she was over there with Curtis and Ella that one time and then she left. Miranda, his ex-wife and baby mama. Well, ex-wife is the more respectable term, and mother of their child Christian. Despite all the times Laura has, talked back, so to speak, to my recollection, and feel free to let me know, because that's what the fans are here for, because sometimes I forget things you might remember, but I don't believe there was ever a time where Laura got up in Miss Ella's face or Curtis's face the same way that Calvin stepped to Frederick like he was about to do something. Now, some people are like, yeah, I don't blame Calvin. That's right. He has the right to defend himself. But let's take it back, slow your roll. Perfect example of take how you feel about Laura out of the equation and look at the situation for what it is. Do you honestly think, I was about to say, do you honestly think Ella would be okay with her son doing something like this? But then again, the way Ella has been written this season, I wouldn't be surprised if she say, that's right, punch him, Calvin. I don't know. Ella is just a piece of work. I love Cassie Davis, but the way Ella has been portrayed in season 14 has sent me for a loop. Outright admitting she doesn't like Laura. Just, wow. But in any case, I don't think this is a good look. I know a lot of people are cheering for this because, yeah, we don't like Laura. Let her dad take her and go and this, that, and the third. But that doesn't fix the fact that Calvin isn't making a good impression. And yeah, I know that Laura's parents don't have the best impressions on Calvin to begin with, because the first time was when they had dinner at the condo. Miranda popped up unannounced. They had no idea he had 2 sons by 2 different women, a former an ex-wife and things like that. So their first impression was not a good one. I mean, and to be fair, I think it was her father who said, you know, this is a lot. I mean, Laura, what if you decide to have kids someday? You and Calvin's child will never be first priority. And yeah, they just said marrying Calvin would come with a lot, but Laura decided to stay. Well, until she kept going in and out like a revolving door. But I don't think what Calvin, I don't know what her father says in this next episode, but I just don't think Calvin needed to roll up on him like that, because that's incredibly disrespectful. Like, don't get me wrong. I know they say respect your elders, but that doesn't mean people can just talk to you any sort of way. However, I think that what he's doing, getting all up in his face, that's not a good thing to do to your potential father-in-law. Because now there's no doubt Laura's mom is going to find out, and she's going to be like, oh, you better not go to that boy again. So there we go. Like I said, Laura does a lot. She could be defined as the definition of too much. But like I said, imagine if Laura got all up in Ella's face like that. You know, Janine, Lisa, Miranda, everybody would be ready to drag her, just stomp her and throw her out in the front yard. And people will be cheering at that. But Calvin does that to Laura's dad, and all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, get him. Man, the double standard is wild, y'all. And truth be told, Calvin acting like this low-key shows he's no better than Laura in terms of not being able to control his temper. But y'all, I don't think y'all ready for that conversation, though. I don't think you're ready for that conversation. But just take a moment. I know Laura's dad doesn't have the full scope. He only has Laura's side, where she's painted as the victim. That's what she does. That's who she is. I'm the victim. I'm the one who was wronged. But my question is, based on Laura's father, I don't think that he is going to be willing to have a full conversation. He's just there to get his daughter, because the last time he came over a couple episodes ago, he literally said, baby girl, just know you aren't stuck here. If you want to come home, we're just a phone call away. So he's been waiting for this. So he's going to come in here, say his piece based off of Laura's retelling of events. I mean, her saying the family attacked me, which they didn't. They just disagreed with the gift. Like, I don't agree with like Janine and Jasmine and Ella jumping in, but I would certainly not say it was an attack. It was more like unwarranted instigating, but it was certainly not an attack. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.